What is up, ladies and gentlemen, sinners and saints, possums and heathens? Welcome to Offensive Points, where tonight we are going to go through the best landing spots for your rookie wide receivers in 2024. Speaking of rookie wide receivers in 2024, they're going to get drafted next week, and you should join us for the live draft show where we will be on from 7 p.m. Central to 9 p.m. Central. So be on, hang out with us. Send some questions into the mailbag where we are giving away jerseys. So we get a Nico Collins jersey. We get an Antoine Winfield jersey. They're awesome. You could win them. You should win them. You should send something into the mailbag. So, Josh, Billy, we wrote a rookie guide, and it was awesome. We had a lot of fun doing it. Go on. Get the rookie guide, guys, because it's going to give you a lot of insight into these players and how they can perform for your league. We're also going to do the best landing spots once the draft is concluded, so that'll be fun. Guys, interesting news in the NFL. I don't know if we want to discuss any of them before we get into the wide receivers, but how are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. I don't know. I love to discuss things. It's always really good, especially when we discuss like old players of the NFL for no reason.
Like Javid Best?
Yeah, like Javid
Best, Brandon Pettigrew, the Detroit Lions of old. I mean, there's been a few signings. I don't really know if any of them, really ruffled in many feathers. One of them was Royce Freeman to the Dallas Cowboys. Was kind of funny seeing a couple leagues I'm in, people went and picked him up, and I'm like, that can't. Okay, what are you doing? And then also J.K. Dobbins is officially a Charger. They are moving the Ravens running back group from 2 years ago out west, and there's in stating him there. I don't think that means they're not going to take a running back in the draft. I do think whatever running back goes to the Chargers is still somebody I would take high. However, this does muddle the waters a little bit, if we can't lie. I mean, we did the running backs last week on tiers for rookies. I do think this makes it a little bit more of a mess than it was as we previously thought.
Honestly, like, could you imagine being Gus Edwards? Like, yeah, finally I'm away from J.K. Dobbins. And then they're like, just kidding, we're bringing him too. And he's like, all right, I guess. Here it is. I'm sure they're probably
going to give you the ball on the 3-yard line twice a game. Do something with it.
For sure. Yeah.
We know what JK can do when he's healthy, but he's never healthy.
That's true.
I mean, it could be a very interesting signing. Wouldn't be the worst no one's going to trade him now that he's signed over there, but you could try and acquire him for cheap. I'm not saying send a lot of assets there, but that could pay off.
Yeah. I think in redraft, I might take him late just in case, but I do think whatever rookie there is going to get a very good chance at first crack. Because I do think Harbaugh wants a good run, attack there. And I don't think you're getting that from these two. I just don't.
Okay. What do you guys think about Robert Kraft stabbing Arthur Blank in the back? Or not Arthur Blank, stabbing Bill Belichick in the back to Arthur Blank.
I thought that was interesting. Also, I've seen reports of Belichick coming out and saying he'll coach for certain teams. One of them is the Eagles, which is interesting. I'm like, so you're just assuming Sirianni's getting fired? I was like, all right, cool. And I don't remember who the other one was. It wasn't the Falcons. Oh, it was the Giants. I was like,
I don't know.
I guess he
did want to coach. He did want to coach the Falcons, though. And they just like, nope, not going to do it. I think he should take over the Jets and just stick it to the Patriots. I think that would be hilarious. Even though he hates the Jets, I just think it would be funny coming back to that.
Especially after Kraft news coming out about him, them being at odds. So I think you'd be like, hey, thanks for the 6 Super Bowls, but whatever.
The billions of dollars.
You would think so. Except he probably just credits Tom Brady, and he's like, well, Tom Brady's the one that actually won those, so that's what it is. Even though most of those defenses were the reason that he even had a chance in the first place. But
and the NFL just kind of rigs things as it goes.
That is
Billy froze. So obviously it's true. The NFL has kicked Billy out. Billy's not allowed to talk about this anymore. I'll stop.
He's absolutely gone. No, so I think what we're saying right now, guys, is there is very little going on news-wise, so this draft really needs to get here so we can dive into that. Yeah, Josh, are you ready for the draft?
Oh, absolutely. Looking forward to seeing these, like, all these mock drafts come out. And now I feel like there's more than ever. We're putting them out there. All these other people are putting them out there. All the experts say that, I've seen some weird stuff like out there, but I just want to see it finally happen, because it's always completely different than the mock drafts. And it's not the same as, what it has been, what it's been written as. So looking forward to seeing, like, is Roma Dunze going to make it to 9? Is he going to be? I've seen some people putting him over Neighbors, which I don't think is happening. But like, there's a lot of crazy mocks out there, and it's just like it's finally happening. We all mocked tight end to the Bengals last year. Mayer, Laporta, didn't happen. So like, will they go after Bowers? Well, there's so many storylines that need to happen. What's going to happen with the quarterbacks after the top 3?
If Bowers goes to the Bengals, I know this is the wide receivers show, but if he does go to the Bengals, where do you rank him? What do you think he's going to do?
I mean, in redraft, it's hard to be like, oh, he's going to be a top 3 tight end to start off with. There's some really good tight ends out there, but I think he pops up into the top 5 in Dynasty for sure. I mean, even with some of these younger guys who are coming up, and I just think that with the Bengals being tied to Joe Burrow is not the worst thing, and I think that would really say that T. Higgins is gone once you get that, really more so than anything. So that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, well, he says he's going to play, but I don't know. I always I fell for the Irv Smith last year. I thought that was going to work. I fell for the Hayden Hurst. That didn't work. So hopefully Joe Burrow actually throws a Brock Bowers.
Yeah, which
does go to the Bengals.
Sadly enough, like Irv Smith and Hayden Hurst really aren't bad tight ends. Like they should have been better than that. But Here we go. Maybe Brock will be the guy. It probably won't happen, honestly. It's probably going to go a little too early, and they probably don't pull the trigger. So considering they wouldn't draft one at their actual draft pick, why would they draft one and trade up for one? So
makes sense. Billy, welcome back to the show, man. We've been having some Brock Bowers to the Bengals talk since you've been gone.
Hey, I mean, I have a bet in with that actually for him to go to the Bengals. So that would be incredible if he ended up going there. I think it's kind of a long shot, but at the same time, they need a tight end. They've never had one. They've never drafted one. So it's about time they finally, actually address the position. I think Joe Burrow would actually appreciate having that kind of safety blanket as well. You see how it works well with other teams. I think he would appreciate that.
I think the Bengals should trade Pitts or Atlanta should trade Pitts to the Bengals and then draft Bowers.
That would be interesting.
Okay.
That's on my mind.
I mean, we'll see. I don't hate that.
Put that bet in, Bill.
For that to happen? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how it happens, but you got to figure it out.
Okay. I'll figure it out. Okay, does anybody else have any news or anything they want to potentially discuss?
We've got Jefferson not showing up.
CD also not showing up.
CD not
Darius
showing up.
Slayton as well not showing up, by the way. Did you see that?
Darius Slayton holdout. That was not on my bingo card.
Exactly. The Slayton holdout that everybody was expecting.
We should have had that on our bingo card. He's like, I've been here for 14 years, man. Come on.
Yeah, he's like, well, I need a new deal. I've led this team in receiving the last 3 years, so it's got to be me. And it's like, well, okay, buddy. It's not
fair enough, though. I mean, I don't agree with it. He does have a point.
He has he has a point. He does not have a good point.
He relegated Isaiah Hodgins into nothing. So
that used to be like one of your best friends, Joe, and now you don't even know his name. Like, how sad is that?
Short memory, man.
I guess so. Okay, well, we'll address that as the offseason goes on, but it is interesting that all of these players. By the way, kudos to the effing Eagles. Get that deal done with Devonta Smith now so that you don't have to pay the premium once Justin Jefferson signs. So the Eagles are the only ones doing this shit right, because the time to sign that deal was before the Justin Jefferson extension, because that's going to change everything about the market.
I was super worried about them getting that deal done too. I'm glad they did. And it's only 3 years too. So it's like, obviously it's a lot of money, but it's not like, you're tied to him for 7 years or whatever.
A fantastic deal. It was a great job. The Eagles really are doing everything right. I mean, if whatever happened the end of last season didn't happen, they would be on such a good course.
I kind of like the hype being off of the Eagles. When every time the hype's on the Eagles, the dream team scenario last year, it all falls apart every single time. Like the team on paper last year looked like the best team in the league. We looked like the best team in the league up until week 10 or 11. than just the fall apart, the crumble.
All the wheels.
I'm looking forward to being out of the news for a little while. Just don't worry about it. We signed Devontae Smith and did some stuff.
I've seen people compare the Eagles Super Bowl hangover last year to like the time you think you don't have a hangover and then it hits you at like 2 p.m. You're like surviving the whole morning. You're like, oh man, I can't believe I didn't have a hangover. I drank a lot last night. And then at 2 p.m. you're just like dead and you just fall on the ground. That's kind of how the Eagles season went because 2 p.m. hit and they're like, oh damn, I'm still pretty messed up.
Need a bed and some water.
Jalen being injured the whole year without talking about it was just ridiculous. Now that we got Saquon, hopefully that takes away those stupid design quarterback runs, especially now that we got new coaching staff. That was the biggest thing. I think I said last year in the beginning of the year, like I wasn't worried about the coaching staff change. I was. It was a problem. I was just trying to be hopeful.
I like that. You're smiling through adversity. I appreciate that, Josh. Okay. Let's get on to what we're doing this week. I will explain the whole thing again. In case you missed last week's episode, we did this with running backs. We're going to do it this week with wide receivers. We are going to rank or basically put teams into tiers based on whether we think that wide receiver is going to get there and automatically be good, or if that wide receiver is going to get there and, kind of put into a lower situation. Obviously, we can't make up a random Puka Nacua breaking through the concrete, but that's what happened last season. But these are teams that if you get drafted there, we know there's going to be a good situation for them right away, a potential wide receiver 1 even situation for some. So without that, with all that being said, we will bring up the tiers that we have here, and we will start with the Arizona Cardinals. Joe, what do you think?
It is an elite landing spot for Marvin Harrison and 101 in Superflex. I'm calling it now.
I think even if, and I was going to put elite anyway. Sorry, Bill, if you have a different opinion, but I doubt you do.
No, it's the top.
It's elite for anyone. Say they trade out of this spot, someone really wants a quarterback and they want to shore up some draft picks for the future. I don't hate them going and getting Neighbors either, or even a Dunze, depending on where that lands. I mean, you've got options here, and it's an elite landing spot regardless. We got Michael Wilson and Rondell Moore's out the door. Marquise Brown's out the door. And trying to remember the other guy. Greg Dortch. I should have known. The 5'7" wonder.
How could you forget?
I know. It's terrible for me. But this is an elite landing spot. Kyler still has some in the tank. I know a lot of people aren't big fans of Kyler, but if this is Marvin Harrison, look for those. Kyler's probably going to be a good value quarterback this year as well. It's one of those guys. So, loving this for landing spot for wide receivers.
Yep, don't have much to add. Cardinals are one of the elite teams that absolutely need a wide receiver 1. I do think Michael Wilson could push for it, but if they get Marvin Harrison Jr., I think we all kind of know what that's going to look like. So we'll move on to the Atlanta Falcons. Josh, what do you think about the Falcons?
So I would have to say good because I don't see them drafting a top 10 or one of the top 3, essentially. Obviously, we assume a Dunze, Harrison, and Neighbors are top 3. I don't see them. They have the pick for it. They could hypothetically draft one, but I would hypothetically see them doing something to boost off the offensive line, defensive line instead. It'd probably be elite if you add in one of those guys, but I feel like what they did in free agency for wide receivers and trades, I don't see them going after one of these rookies at this point. I mean, they got London, Pitts, a couple guys behind that. So I would say good personally.
Yeah, I have him at upside. I think, Darnell Mooney was in a really bad situation the last 2 years. I think Kirk Cousins is going to love having him to throw to. Rondale Moore is there. Kyle Pitts is there. Drake London. I mean, I don't see any way a rookie comes in here and just has immediate impact this year. It's possible. So if they do go there, Kirk Cousins loves to throw the ball, and we know he's going to feed it to just about everybody. So there is upside. So that's why I would go with upside.
I'm going with upside as well. I do think that they could add somebody, and that person could push for Mooney or Moore's role. Now, I don't think that they're going to win it, but I do think that there is a chance that they at least come into camp and look good. If they take somebody in the second round, I think we would feel a lot better about this. But if we're talking 4th round, I think there's an upside play there for sure.
I could see them getting like Keon Coleman or, McConkey in the second, third. I mean, there's options there they could potentially get a wide receiver. And I wouldn't mind them doing that, but yeah, seeing them go after Neighbors would just be like, stop trying to stack the offense. Like,
if Malik Washington goes there, it will be elite, but for everyone else, it's upside.
You really love Malik Washington. I hope he ends up on a good team for you, Joe, because
I really hope so.
He, needs it. Okay, let's move on to the Baltimore Ravens. I will start out with this one, and I'm going to go with elite.
I'm going to say good. We saw what Zay Flowers did, but that's the first wide receiver that's actually done it with them. I don't see them drafting one super high here either, considering they just went to the well last year. So we're looking at a second or third round day 2 guy, I would imagine. And I just see more of another Rashad Bateman on the team. I could see them just not doing it until late in the draft too. I mean, the good thing is they don't really need anything else. You would think that wide receiver would be on their target, but I would have to say good just because Lamar and wide receivers, maybe with Derrick Henry joining, there's a little bit more of a chance for Lamar to, rely on the receivers a bit more. I think that's the hope for, the Ravens, but yeah, I'd go with good.
Okay, so this is going to be the first one we completely disagree on. Billy, I don't know what you're smoking about elite here, but I'm going to go upside. We got Zay Flowers. We got Mark Andrews being healthy. We got Isaiah Likely coming out. I mean, Aguilar looks pretty good, and Harbaugh came out and said that they are trying to get Bateman much more involved this year. So I don't see a rookie coming in and making any sort of impact whatsoever.
How many years are we doing this Bateman thing?
How many years? I still love it.
This is definitely the last year. I love Bateman.
He's the golden
personally.
gopher, man. He's the golden
They're
gopher.
And if he was a golden gopher, he would have done something in the last 3 years.
Is this a contract year for him?
Probably.
This is let him ride into the sunset year for Bateman.
No, this is the breakout we've all been waiting for. Bateman in a contract year.
Jesus
this
Christ.
has got actually, Joe. This is where your Malik Washington's probably going to land, and I hate it for you because it's definitely if they're getting a wide receiver, it's a day 3 guy. I don't even see a day 2 guy really. I mean, possibly second or third round. But
I think this team is primed for
9
a
picks, though. I assume. Sorry, Bill. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I think this team is primed for a second round wide receiver that is going to definitely push Rashad Bateman out of the way because he's not good enough to be on, the starting roster. And then Nelson Aguilar, he immediately will be ahead of him as well. Now, you can argue about Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews and them. Okay, sure. But I do think that there is an opportunity to get in there and get a bunch of touches right away. That's just what I'm saying.
So this is Billy's Mike Williams, by the way. He fucking hates Bateman.
I don't hate Bateman, but what are we? We're waiting for him to actually do something. At least Mike Williams has actually done something in the league. At least he's done.
He gets hurt.
Thing. Well, what does Bateman do?
Just
gets hurt in better ways.
He gets hurt. It's literally
all right. Let's calm down. We're going with good because we literally split the middle. We're going with the difference. I do think this is actually a good spot for good. I'm not only because I said it, but.
Fair enough. I will back off my hot take. All right, on to the Buffalo Bills elite, right?
Yeah. Khalil Shakir is the wide receiver 1 right now, and he I don't know if you guys need to know this, but he's not a wide receiver 1.
No. And then you got Curtis Samuel and Mac Hollins backing him up. So
what a wide receiver group.
Not great, Bob, as they would say. I mean, I like Shakir, but he needs to be in a lesser role. I mean, he's definitely under Kincaid, probably James Cook too. But he needs to be under probably whatever that other wide receiver is as well as far as targets go. Hopefully we are not talking about this team with Khalil Shakir as the 1 after draft weekend. That would be a Bills disaster. All right. Don't need to spend too much time on that. On to the Carolina Panthers. Josh, what do you think?
I really want to say elite. My brain not my brain. My heart wants to say elite because there isn't a receiver on this team other than Adam Thielen, and he's 35 years old, 37. I don't even know how old he is. So the sky's the limit for them. Unfortunately, they don't have a first round draft pick because they're idiots. But they're going to add a receiver in this class. They have to. So I think at the very least we got to go with good, but I really want to say elite because this is going to be Bryce Young's running mate, essentially. I mean, Terrace Marshall didn't really get off the ground last year. Thielen,
it's going to be Mingo.
I want it to be Mingo, but it hasn't been. So
I don't either. It's just like that. I know he likes Mingo. I don't know.
Deontay
Johnson's going to be the steal of the century in drafts, the way you guys are talking.
Well, I will say Deontay Johnson that does pose that, but I also feel like he was kind of okay the last few years. Obviously, Pickett throwing him the ball. I mean, he should be the guy, but I do think there'll be an ad here. Maybe I'm a little overzealous hating on Deontay Johnson. I guess I'd say upside at the very least.
I would go. So you're saying there's a chance because I don't believe in Bryce Young, and with the amount of mouths, and that's not even including either Chuba Hubbard or Miles Sanders. Like those are going to steal some targets from him, and then whatever they're trotting out there, Tommy Tremble at tight end is going to steal. Like I don't trust anybody on this team. If they go wide receiver in the second round, maybe. But I think there's so much other stuff they need to fix on this team that they're not probably even going to address it until like the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah, I've got. So you're saying there's a chance. I mean, I actually like this wide receiver core. If Bryce Young takes a step forward, they could. I mean, Thielen and Deontay Johnson. I do think Deontay is going to be a steal of the century here, but I don't see a rookie coming in and making much of an impact.
I guess I just am hopeful that Bryce Young's okay.
Well, the problem is he's as short as Kyler Murray, but he's not as athletic. And I mean, we talked about how much that wasn't going to work last offseason before they even started. And after watching it, it looked even worse. He looked photoshopped when he was standing next to his own teammates. Like we saw pictures of him that looked wild. That he was whatever. He looked like maybe a kid out there, but whatever. Neither here nor there. Let's move on to the Chicago Bears. Joe, what do you think?
I have get the fuck out on here. I would hear. So you're saying there's a chance. We got DJ Moore. We got Keenan Allen. We got Gerald Everett, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift. I think we go. I mean, there's a good argument to be made to take Adunze, and I do like that idea. But I just don't see, outside of maybe a couple of good games for a rookie this year. I don't know.
See, for Dynasty, I'd say good. I think that's, running mate. DJ Moore's only locked up for so long. You got Caleb Williams for however many years coming up. But we're talking redraft. It's, to me, if Adunze goes there, it's upside. But without that, I do agree with Joe. It's GTFO, man. Like, I mean, so you're saying there's a chance, probably, really. But so I don't know, because like I don't think Adunze is going to be there, much less I don't think the Bears are going to draft him. I mean, unless they really hate all the wide receivers that are coming out next year, I don't know what that looks like, but you don't need it. You got Keenan Allen, and I mean, technically you do need a wide receiver 3, but like you got a tight end, two to three running backs, and 2 great wide receivers. It's like, why not shore up some offensive line or defensive line? And there's just so many better options for them to not grab Adunze. So I don't really actually have an answer.
Okay, so the only thing I'll push back with you on, I'm doing, so you're saying there's a chance. Upside if it was Odunze, but I'm saying so you're saying there's a chance. The problem is, Josh, if Keenan Allen gets hurt, because he is going to be 32 starting at the start of the season, after that it kind of drops off a lot, and it leaves Caleb Williams in a really weird spot because Tyler Scott is the other one, and then I don't know who else who's behind Keenan Allen. But if you don't take somebody, like, I feel like it really does put you in a bad spot. But if everybody's healthy, it's not going to be a great season, probably.
The Bears.
Yeah, I really want to go with upside. I'm going to change my vote to upside, but I think that puts us at, so you're saying there's a chance anyway. So, but I maybe Adunze does get drafted here. Maybe it does make more sense than I realized, because without Mooney there, they don't really have any reserves anymore. So like they're definitely going to draft someone, and that's going to be the third receiver that's playing. So whether it's Adunze or someone later, they're going to get someone to fill that room up.
They do have Dante Pettis on the roster, so that's always
a garden plant.
Only if it's wet outside.
I was about to say, if it's raining, got to steal. All right, on to the Cincinnati Bengals. Josh, they just replacing T. Higgins?
At the moment, they're saying that T. Higgins says he's going to play. I don't believe that for a second. I'm going to go with upside here, just because it's Joe Burrow throwing the ball. I know he likes Isavadis or whatever his name is, but I think if they actually were to go out and draft a wide receiver, they have pretty decent upside, especially with the chance that T. Higgins being traded during the draft, much less. So it's really tough to play that with not knowing what's going on with T. Higgins. But without T. Higgins, it's GTFO. With T. Higgins being traded, it's upside to maybe even good.
Joe?
Yeah. No, I have it as good, namely because it is Joe Burrow. And, I mean, we've seen this offense support a third wide receiver, especially with injuries and stuff with Tyler Boyd. So I think, if they do invest in a wide receiver, which honestly they need to, I think it's a good landing spot.
Did you go upside or good, Joe?
Good.
He said good.
I probably would go upside, but I can see what you're saying about good, and especially if T. Higgins is there, that definitely means it's good. But I think I'm sticking with upside.
That puts the Bengals at upside.
Overruled.
I mean, honestly, I think the problem is if T. Higgins plays, it's less. So like it's hard to go good. I would love to. It's good if T. Higgins is gone. I as much as I hate that, I love T. Higgins. I'm just saying, like, not enough targets to go around. So
I mean, I do think this role could be 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. I'm not going to say that's out of the realm of possibility.
I mean, if a rookie comes in and has a Tyler Boyd type of year, I would say that's good.
Is Tyler Boyd gone, by the way?
He is.
Yeah.
Trenton Irwin is the player in the position.
Where is
right
Tyler Boyd? Did anyone sign him?
I don't know. Don't have it pulled up. Sure, Joe or you will get that.
I'm looking it up. Don't worry, I'll get it.
Okay, sounds good. Well, while you're looking that up, we're going to move on to the Cleveland Browns. I am going to go. So you're saying there's a chance, but I would be willing to listen if somebody wants to go higher.
First things first, Tyler Boyd is a free agent. He's coming back to the Bengals if T. Higgins leaves. Just a heads up. There's no way.
Possible.
Yeah, I got GTFO here. They're not drafting one. They're gonna attack other areas, and they're gonna believe that Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore are better than what they played as so far in their career, and they already know what they got in Amari Cooper. So I just don't think they draft one high enough to even give them a chance to play. And then not to mention, when they finally get a chance to play, if Jeudy or Elijah Moore isn't up to snuff, they're not going to be able to get enough targets. Even Elijah Moore wasn't getting enough targets last year as the number 2. So,
Joe?
Yeah, I'm get the fuck out. I mean, at least for this year. Okay. I mean, Amari is going to command the targets. I assume they're going to try to get Jeudy very involved with what they invested in him. So I don't really see any room.
Yeah, I just don't see it this year. I would love to see the rookie that they draft and then maybe get him in the 3rd round of a rookie dynasty draft. You know what I mean? And just hold on to him for a year because maybe it does pan out next year. I mean, one or all 3 of these guys could be gone. I guess Judy's kind of locked up for a while, but
yeah, I was just thinking, like, do they know they can trust the wide receivers they have? I know they added them, but would they not try to maybe invest early? But I guess that's true. They did add a lot, so why add another one this soon? All right, on to the Dallas Cowboys. Joe, what do you think?
I'd say it's a good landing spot. I mean, we have Brandon Cooks there. Obviously, CD's there. He's going to command a ton of it. Jake Ferguson kind of came on, but if they invest in a rookie, I mean, Cooks did nothing to show that he deserves the ball a whole lot. And then Michael Gallup is out of there and was injured all the time. So I think it's a good landing spot.
I don't know why, but like Xavier Leggett, legit, however you pronounce his name, I have him mocked there, like in the 2nd round. I assume it's happening. I don't know why. It just seems like a Dallas Cowboys name. But yeah, I'd have to put good too, because I think they value the position. They saw that CD was amazing, but they also see that they want to keep CD on the team. I assume. I mean, I imagine. I don't know. They got a lot of contract disputes going on as well. Like, what if they don't sign CD? They got to invest in the position. What if CD doesn't like the contract they're rolling out? So I feel like they have to draft a wide receiver here. So I would definitely say good.
Clean sweep. I say good as well.
Bing, bing, bing.
No, not much more to add. I think y'all are right. I don't think CeeDee Lamb can have as many targets again this season and then be successful. I mean, it was fun as hell in fantasy last season, but there's just no way that's a winning formula year after year. I just don't. I don't know. He's good.
I need it to happen, but it's fine.
I mean, and I appreciated it. You know, he won me some leagues, but I don't know. It's hard to see it happening twice, I guess. But who knows? All right, on to the Broncos. I'm just gonna say good.
Who the hell's the quarterback? I can't say elite. I want to say elite.
Ben DiNucci.
Yeah,
Jared
sure.
Stone.
Okay. I want to say it's
Stidham.
elite, but I need a quarterback for this team. Like I would
That's why I
love to be
held
like
off.
wide away. I would have dragged and dropped in the elite if they had Gardner Minshew. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't hard for them to go get a quarterback. And I mean, I'm assuming they're going to find one in the draft, Penix or Nix or something. Maybe they're the JJ McCarthy team. I mean, they could be. It could be that guy. But
they need to draft Xavier Worthy and then go get Joe Milton and just drop 90-yard bombs every offensive play and see what happens.
Dude, this team is just a dumpster fire. You can't say elite about any position for this team. I really hope Javonte gets traded to the Cowboys, as much as I would hate that.
Hopeful for Mims. I mean, Sutton would be nice coming back. Tim Patrick's still there. I mean, I do love me some Tim Patrick. He maybe shouldn't be on the team, but he's going to give it another go. I love Tim Patrick. I just feel bad that year after year he has to go through what he goes through. Just feels like the sport maybe doesn't love him back. Without knowing who the quarterback is, I don't think that you are going to be able to say anything other than good. I do think this is a Bo Nix landing spot as well. I just think there's like certain teams where Bo Nix is going to work really well, and it has to be a quarterback coach as head coach, which is perfect for, Sean McVay is perfect working with quarterbacks. And if he went to the Vikings as well, I think that Kevin O'Connell could work with him pretty well. But nevertheless, good is where we're going to end up here probably. All right, on to the Lions. I'm going to say, so you think there is a chance?
I've got upside on the Lions. I mean, Jameis is one of our favorite breakout players this year. Love Jameson Williams. I mean, you got Laporta and Amon-Ra there, but J-Mo had a lot of issues, with the whole betting thing and the injuries and the camp nonsense and everything. So they could be looking to upgrade that position there, and we do think they need a big-bodied receiver. So I think there is upside with there.
I would love to put it at get the fuck out of here, but I got to agree with Joe. It's upside. There is a chance that J-Mo just doesn't make it in the NFL, and I hate it. I want him to. I think he can. He has the ability, and it seems like it's been working. At least, like they've been trying to get him more involved at the very least. He had a little bit of drops and yips at the beginning of his career after coming back from an injury. And then, I mean, the one touchdown his rookie year coming back from the injury was amazing, 40-yard bomb. And then I think he had one or two last year. And then not to mention the little, they're getting involved in more than just deep balls, which I think is amazing. And I think that's their plan. But there's a chance that doesn't work out. And I think upside has to be at the very least.
Why don't they just offer their first round pick for T. Higgins or for Brandon Ayuk? Like, that would fill the hole that they have right away. I mean, Ayuk maybe not as much, but Higgins is kind of exactly the last piece to the puzzle there. They need body wide receiver, and I guess maybe that's why it's upside. Maybe it's even good. I don't know. It just depends on who they draft, but I mean, we'll see.
Who is even being mocked to the Lions at this point? Offensive line, I assume.
I believe so, or cornerback, because they lost CJ.
Oh, they do need a corner. Yeah, actually, I'm not gonna lie to you. I get that, but I also just take offense over everything. Goff, they're talking about Goff and an extension for Goff. Why don't you give him another weapon? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You should sign Jonathan Brooks and just have the four-headed with Craig Reynolds.
Jesus, Joe, don't do this. Yeah, I was about to say four-headed monster for sure.
No, man, they would get Jonathan Brooks if Craig Reynolds wasn't there, but they got Craig Reynolds. Why would they stop?
Craig needs to do a contract holdout.
I would be there supporting him so much.
Oh, that's funny. All right, on to the Green Bay Packers. I'm going GTFO personally.
100%. I agree with you. They love
unless they somehow get the top three wide receivers.
Okay.
If they somehow get their hands on one of the top three. The problem with the Packers is, Jaden Reed's okay. I'm not going to say he's great. Dontavian Wicks, okay. Bo Melton, okay. Romeo Doubs, okay. I mean, you got the C squad on the strip club Thursday night,
I was just letting him finish at this point. Okay, back to it. They love their three wide receivers they have, and this is the youngest team in football. Christian Watson, Doubs, and Reed. And then they also have Dontavian Wicks. There's no way. I just don't think they even draft a wide receiver, not even in the 7th round. Like, I don't think there's like Christian McCaffrey's little brother comes in on this team. I just don't see.
I know the thought has crossed LaFleur's mind to trade for Marvin Harrison.
Probably. I'm sure it's crossed a lot of people's minds, Joe.
Yeah. I'm just there's an asterisk next to the get the fuck out of here. Okay.
I don't think
if there was a Craig Reynolds spot, we'd put him there because they already got Craig Reynolds, but we don't have that for this one.
No, they're happy with their receiving core. Let's let them grow like the good houseplants they are. All right, on to the Houston Texans, another GTFO for me.
Yeah. After the Diggs trade, there's nothing for it. I mean, I before Diggs, I'd be like upside just because of Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
hard to see anybody crack in this lineup, and especially they even have like Xavier Hutchinson, who is going to get some touches this year. Like I even like the guys on the second line, I think could be getting touches. So they add another person. It's like I don't even know how that would factor in at all.
I hate this for Mechie, honestly, the most because
Mechie will get touches.
His role to take. I know, but I was just saying it was his before the Diggs trade. He could have been Collins, Mechie, and Dell could have been the best trio in football. And then you add Diggs to it. I think it is clearly, and then it's probably the best quad because I don't think there's any team that has 4 wide receivers that are this good.
Not like this, no.
This is insane.
This is the this. We need a CJ Stroud. Too many receivers and too many cooks in the kitchen tier for them.
For sure. Okay, on to the Colts. I will personally say elite, but discuss.
Yeah, I would actually probably lean towards good, but I do agree with you. It could be elite, especially they are in the category. I think Bowers is more mocked to them than anything. I don't think any of the top 3 goes there. So it's a day 2 guy, which can still be elite. You got a couple good young guys in the room already, but there's definitely gonna be another one added. Alec Pierce, Josh Downs. We love to see them do better, especially Josh Downs after last year being kind of okay. Michael Pittman's still great. So it's hard for me to put elite on that, I guess, a little bit just because of the target share and then not to mention mobile quarterback, although Pittman did have really good turnout with Richardson in the first few games, so it's tough. Joe, you're the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I would say it's good. I wish there was a good plus tier because that's where it would fit in. But I think when you have a guy like Michael Pittman on your team, you cannot be elite. I don't think there's another guy that's going to come in and be nearly as strong as Michael Pittman. So,
okay, I can hear you out. I just see a lot of people mocking like Brian Thomas Jr. to this team, and I'm like, incredible. That would be awesome for this team. But you're right; he's probably not going to overtake Michael Pittman, even if he is drafted there. So, yeah, it's probably good. Maybe I'm a little over.
Well, unless Brian Thomas is in the second round. I personally thought Thomas was going to sneak into the first, but I guess it could be.
No, it would after that 4.35. He's going in the first, I think.
Well, but they have the 10th pick, don't they? Unless they trade it back, I guess.
No, they have
the 14th,
15th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's somewhat close to where he could be going, but I don't know.
Fair.
We'll see how it goes. If it's a wide receiver
from there,
that's also true. All right, on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Joe, what do you think?
It is good. I think Christian Kirk's going to have one hell of a season, and I will be targeting him everywhere. You got Zay Jones there and Gabe Davis, Gabe Davis is kind of the piece that they were missing last year, but I think that they were hoping that Ridley was coming back to pair with Gabe Davis. So there's a chance that this one would be elite, but good's my vote.
I'm actually going to go lean the other way and go upside. I think they truly believe in Gabe Davis. I don't think they're correct in believing in him, but I think they actually do believe in Gabe Davis. So I don't think they draft one high enough for him to make a chance. They love Zay Jones. Evan Ingram's also another receiver in that room. I think it's a little crowded. I don't think it's the best receiving room in the league, but I think that they think they have one of the best.
Okay, I'm going to go upside, but I wish there was an upside plus, as Joe would say, because I do think there is a chance that this person could mean a lot for this team. But at the same time, they do seem to have a core right now that they believe in. But I could very well see somebody breaking in. I don't think they're going to take them high enough to warrant it right away, but maybe. I don't know. We'll see. All right, on to the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh,
It's hard.
Do you have the need? Do you have the need for speed?
It's hard to not put any receiver that's going to be drafted on the Chiefs as potential as elite. That's my thing. You got Rasheed said the need for speed. I just got that. Rasheed Rice obviously has the need for speed. Bit of an issue for this team. Obviously, Marquise Brown's there. But even with Marquise Brown, an addition of a receiver, Brian Thomas, any of these guys in the later round can be elite on the Chiefs. Any person who makes the right connection, breakfast clubs with Mahomes or Taylor Swift or whatever's going on in Kansas City, I would 100% have to put elite because I think they're still in need of one, regardless of Rasheed Rice.
So she's announcing the pick for the Chiefs on Thursday, right?
They're going to break up after the draft because they're going to be like, it was all just for show. We just wanted the NFL. We just want we want to make some money for the NFL.
She goes up and reads the card and accidentally says Brian Thompson Jr. and they get some cornerback from like South Mississippi instead of Brian Thomas. And then
how great would that
Kelsey's
be?
Like, get out of here. Get out of here. We're done.
It'd be funny. She is dropping an album this week, so
nobody cares.
Be in full album mode at the draft next week.
Nice.
Cool. Super cool. All right. Anyway, what is
you getting it on vinyl?
It can be elite.
Yeah, it's elite. It's Patrick Mahomes.
I figured we were on the same page. All right. Well, I think we can just go ahead and go right to elite as well for this one. But
yeah, the Chargers are the next team up on our list, and they are elite as well. They don't have anybody there right now for me. Joe?
Any receiver that Justin Herbert gets to pepper with targets is elite in my book. So, yes.
And I think this has neighbors written all over it. And there's a lot of people who've mocked the Cardinals trading down. I don't know why this is a thing, but they could hypothetically get Marvin Harrison, which would just be like ridiculous. Like unless Harbaugh knew something was going on, I don't know. Maybe that's why he shipped out every receiver that's on his team. So
still think he's going to take one in the second round and take a lineman in the first, but that's just me personally. Just what I feel. Yeah, anyway, we don't need to spend too much time on this. On to the Los Angeles Rams. Joe, another Puka?
That'd be insane. I have it as you're saying there's a chance. I mean, I don't think you're going to get any elite production from a rookie wide receiver, but you could get someone on this team that is a deep threat. There are a couple of those guys in this class that could, he could be like, your 2-3 for 80 and a touchdown guy with the way Stafford likes to sling it. So I do think there is a chance that if they get a speedster in that lineup with Puka and Kupp, he could have value.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, so you're saying there's a chance just because of the fact that they drafted Puka last year. And if they draft another one somehow, I mean, it's possible. Kupp is getting older. I hate to say it. He still looked fine last year while he was playing, but the Demarcus Robinson Tutu Atwell slot is available and someone could take it, but and Stafford's going to be firing the ball. I mean, Kyron's obviously going to get his work, but Stafford's out here slinging the ball until he's done playing football. So I just have to say, so there's a chance just because they did it last year somehow, and I would have probably put him at GTFO. We probably did last year. We're like, no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, probably. Yep, I agree with you guys saying so there's a chance. I will say in dynasty-wise, it could be good, though, because, I think beyond this, it seems like the Rams have a decent track record at drafting wide receivers, not Tutu Atwell, but, in the past, they have good guys. Honestly, with how Cooper Kupp's turned out and how Puka's turned out, whoever they draft in like the 6th or 7th round, that's actually who you need to be drafting on this team. That's clearly the person that's going to be the money maker for you, not necessarily whoever they draft in the first 3 or 4 rounds.
I could see Baby McCaffrey going to this team and working out really well for the team as well.
That would be funny to have Baby McCaffrey on this team. I don't know.
I don't know. Kupp just seems like a guy that is going to play until he's 40, but that's just me.
He'll always be out there catching 5 balls for 56 yards, even when he's like 45 years old.
I'll take it all day.
For sure. All right, on to the Las Vegas Raiders. Josh, what do you think?
This one's tough because it's not quite GTFO. It's a new quarterback coming in. It's Minshew, maybe AOC. Hopefully not. You got Devontae there, and Jacoby. I gotta lean towards upside here. I think there's a chance that Jacoby just doesn't do as good as he's done in the past. That would be my upside for it.
See, Jacoby seems like the Garner Minshew target from hell. I mean, that just seems. And you're discounting the studliness of Trey Tucker with this estimate.
Oh my god, you already had him written as GTFO, didn't you?
Oh yeah, there. Get the fuck out of here. In my book.
That's why I was smiling immediately because I was like, I know Joe's going to bring up Trey Tucker.
Immediately. What do you got him at, Bill?
So you're saying there's a chance, if anything. I mean, it's probably GTFO, but I do think there's a chance if they don't love Trey Tucker. Gotcha, Joe. That he could sneak in there, whoever they draft, and be able to carve out a little bit of a role. So I don't hate it, I do not love this team as a whole, but the wide receiver is not super bad at this situation. All right. Moving on to the Dolphins. I'm just going to get mine out of the way because I know y'all aren't going to agree, but I actually think this is a good spot for whoever they draft. I know they have Waddle. I know they have Hill. But I do think that they add another weapon here and they can make the most out of it.
All right. Well, I have him as GTFO, and I assume Joe does too, because you're not getting targets on the other side of these two. So
I have his upside.
Oh my god, what is wrong with you guys?
I mean, bro, they only throw it to Hill and Waddle. Hill's getting older. Waddle, whatever the hell happened to him last year, I assume he'll be better this year. They don't have a tight end on this team. If they get kind of a possession dude on this team, I think that'd be unstoppable for the Miami Dolphins. So, give me an upside.
What literally killed their season was when Tyreek Hill was hurt. I mean, they didn't have anybody to throw to. Waddle was very inconsistent, and they didn't have any other options. So, they desperately need a wide receiver.
They're gonna draft one. It's just not gonna. He's not gonna get enough targets unless someone gets injured. That's the only issue for me. That's why I would say GTFO.
Well, we thought Devin Achane wasn't going to be anything, and he ended up being top 20.
All right,
running
Billy,
back.
what did you originally say? Did you say upside as well?
I said good.
Okay, it's upside.
So
I'm not going as high as good.
I think they draft Xavier Worthy personally, and I think this team is going to be the fastest team in NFL history. Not that it already
does seem very likely, actually. I'll give you that.
Aren't they already the fastest team in NFL history?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Not that they're not already, but they'll just continue it going by getting the fastest wide receiver.
We don't want anyone else being faster than us. We got to get Worthy on.
Yeah, they just want to.
Isn't this supposed to be Tyreek Hill's last year, by the way? Didn't he say he's going to play 2 more years?
What? He said 2 more years, and it was.
No, it was 2 more years. 2 years ago, I thought.
No,
I thought so too.
He's not going to do it anyway. Let's be real. This, if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, he's coming back again. Even if they win the Super Bowl, he'll probably still come back.
He's going to miss the money. All right, on to the Minnesota Vikings. Mine's going to be GTFO.
GTFO, unless Justin Jefferson just hangs them up this year.
Well, I guess there is no quarterback there. I was going to originally say upside, but I would say, so you're saying there's a chance, but GTFO is fine, honestly.
Well, it's just between Addison, between Jefferson, Hawkinson. I mean, with Hawkinson being out for a little bit, maybe that does carve out something, but
I think there's a chance that there's a third receiver that actually is there, but the problem is there's no quarterback. So, yeah, I agree with you. We'll go with GTFO. That
is an issue. I think even if they draft JJ McCarthy, still don't think there's a quarterback there for this year at least. I mean, I think this offense is going to be a struggle, personally. But whatever. We're not going to get into the JJ McCarthy thing until it actually happens. All right, on to the Patriots. Do we agree elite, or do you guys think differently?
I guess they're getting a new quarterback. I was thinking Mac Jones for a second. I mean, they got a bunch of wide receiver 2s on this team. I actually really like their wide receiver room, but they need a wide receiver 1. So, the problem is, are they going to be able to draft a wide receiver 1?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
That's my problem is I can't say elite. I'd say good just because they're getting a round 2 guy. They're going to get their quarterback first, and then they're grabbing wide receiver. So,
there's some good guys in round 2.
I agree with you. And, I mean, it would probably be good, but I think it'll be more of just I'm not saying a Donnie Mitchell and Worthy and Franklin can't be wide receiver 1s, but I just feel like on a young team, redraft this year, for Dynasty, I would love to draft this wide receiver because he's being tied to whatever
What
quarterback.
if it was like Xavier Leggett? Like, what would you feel if it was him? If he was the
I'm
second
feeling
round
the same past the top three. Is like, yeah, it'll be good, but there's just a lot of mouths to feed. I mean, it just depends on you got a rookie wide receiver or a rookie quarterback coming in. He could choose KJ Osborne. He could choose Demario Douglas, Kendrick Bourne. I mean, you don't know who it's going to be. It could be the rookie. It could be these three. They have a full cast of wide receivers. Is my problem. They're just not wide receiver ones. So if they were getting Neighbors or one of the top three, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. But I think I got to go with good.
I mean, they could go rogue and draft like Marvin Harrison Jr. That would be funny. I don't think that would be the best spot for him, but that would be funny for them.
I mean, that's the caveat to this whole thing. Anyone who gets Marvin Harrison is elite. Like you can't do that. So.
That's true.
Joe, what's your vote? I don't know if you ever cast one.
I have it as a good landing spot, but honestly, it depends who the hell goes there because I don't.
That's true.
I just think good because I think he can. Whoever this person is can surpass one of those three guys. Like, so he'll put up 600, 700 yards. I just can't quite say elite. Okay.
Yeah, good point. All right, on to the Saints. So no Michael Thomas. They do have Chris Olave. They do have A.T. Perry. I mean, are we doing upside or good?
I'm going to go with good. I like Rashid Shaheed, and I want A.T. Perry to be a thing. Cedric Wilson joined the team. St. Brown, Equinemius St. Brown, that is, joined the team. That is not really noteworthy. I don't know why I said it. But, like, there's still no clear-cut number two here. I know it's technically Shaheed at this point, but if they go out and get one, and this team could use a lot of things. I think we had him mocking a defensive lineman to replace some of the old guys.
We did, yeah.
But I think that a day two, day three wide receiver, day two wide receiver, second or third round for sure, could be added to this team and could really make things. So I think I'd go with good. I think a lot of it is a true running mate.
Is there a chance they go a wide receiver one in the first round? Like they draft a wide receiver in the first round?
It's possible. I mean, the Saints don't seem to be making splashy moves, though, so I don't see a trade up. And then, so they're stuck at, Brian Thomas level, which I wouldn't be upset with anyway. I mean, I would say that could be a good landing spot regardless. I think anywhere Brian Thomas
is going there. I think the pass catcher is absolutely someone they should invest in.
So same concept then. I mean, you're talking. I know we're talking tight end, but
I guess I should have made this wide receiver / tight end. Like either one of those things gets added to the team. Maybe that's how we should have framed it.
Bengals are up to elite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would land with good for this person because I think that especially if it's in the first 3 rounds, I do think that person's probably starting almost right away. To be honest.
Yeah, I got to go with good as well.
Sneaky good. Joe, do you have anything to add other than that, or?
No, pass catcher makes a lot of sense. I think they are a great landing spot.
Love it, Joe. Love it, Joe. Keep it going. All right, on to the New York Giants. Josh, what would happen if they added a wide receiver?
It can't be elite because it's the New York Giants. So at best, good. They can't draft a wide receiver. We've learned that. But they already have.
The spot is elite.
The spot is elite, but the problem is they have like a bunch of wide receiver twos for one. But like Jalen Hyatt was supposed to be that guy. Wan'Dale Robinson was supposed to be that guy. So they still have to give these guys chances as it is. So they can't draft too high on wide receiver. But it's also Daniel Jones is the quarterback. So I just could never put elite, but I would love to put elite, but it's good.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. All right. Well, it looks like Joe is going to leave us for these last couple picks. Joe, do you want to sign off real quick?
Good night, Possums.
Oh, he gave us all his votes. Thanks, buddy.
The episode isn't ending, everyone, so just bear with us. It'll be just me and Josh, and then Joe.
Little emergency here.
Joe has votes that we're going to be reading as well.
No, we appreciate you, Joe.
Yeah.
See you guys. Bye, Possums.
See you at the draft. Actually, I'll see you next Wednesday. Whatever. All right, get out of here. All right.
He also voted good, so for the Giants, nobody can vote elite, is what he's saying.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, on to the New York Jets. I am personally going. I guess we should read Joe's first, right?
Yeah,
and we'll
that's
start from
fair.
there. So he said good. I'm saying, I can't believe he said that. I'm saying, so you say there's a chance. I know he
Yes.
hates Mike Williams, but I mean,
That's
come on,
exactly
man.
what it is. I was actually, let's just go ahead and say that Mike Williams doesn't belong in the league. That's from Joe. I also say, so you're saying there's a chance. There is an off chance that a wide receiver does get added to this team that turns out to be really good, but I just don't see it happening right away. Tight end, if we added Bowers into this, then yeah, maybe we'd put it higher, but we did not for this exercise.
Yeah, I mean, they still have Lazard there. I don't see them going after a wide receiver in this draft, and if they do, it's going to be someone pretty late. I think didn't they got Xavier Gibson last year, and he was like a 6th round guy, I'm pretty sure, and he made splashes, but I don't see them adding anything more now.
Nah, probably not. Honestly, they got other mouths to feed, offensive line and maybe future at quarterback, tight end. We've already talked about. So their first choice is offensive line and tight end, and then their next choice is, do we try to go get a replacement for Rodgers or a future for Rodgers? So
Fair enough.
On,
All right,
onto my team,
on to the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go first. I really want to lean good because we've always needed a wide receiver 3. It wasn't Quez Watkins, it wasn't Pascal, it wasn't any of these guys that we've added. What's Zacchaeus? They added Devontae Parker. I think he'll play the third role fine. I think they will add a receiver, but I don't think you can go higher than, so you're saying there's a chance personally, because it's Devontae and AJ and Goddard, and then there's no stats left over. So like, we're talking fantasy football. You're not getting points out of this third guy. I think for the future, it could be really interesting. Or if there's ever an injury, and I think we should draft a wide receiver in the second round or something, and I think they will. Maybe little McCaffrey. I've seen him drafted there. I keep calling him little McCaffrey, baby McCaffrey. But yeah, I don't know. I think Joe also said, so you're saying there's a chance. You got anything different?
No, I'm agreeing with you all. If this was like a taxi squad ranking system, we'd probably say this is an elite spot because this person probably has a chance to make some noise coming up here. And this is a very well-built team. So that person could mean something a lot sooner than later. But yeah, they have a lot of wide receivers on this team. I think they have 10 that they're going into the draft with. So, I mean, even adding somebody on top of that, like they have more positions they need to be addressing. If
they're going to add one for sure, but it's just not going to be redraft this year unless there's an injury. Basically, like, you're not getting stats out of the guy. So,
yeah, that's true. Okay, on to the Steelers of Pittsburgh. Joe said upside. I'm going to go with good, personally.
Wow, we are all completely different. I'm going with elite, dude. We got no one on
really?
This
okay.
We have no one on this team.
You don't trust Pickens? You don't trust Pickens?
I like Pickens. I think he's
okay.
good. I don't think he's great. And I think they definitely add someone. I mean, they have their quarterback dilemma they have to figure out after this year, Wilson and Fields, which it's Fields, I assume. But then it's Pickens, Van Jefferson, Quez Watkins, Des Fitzpatrick, Mims, Calvin Austin. I don't know if you hear these names. But they're all rejects from other teams, basically. Like, I liked all of them, which is funny because I really like this
Island of Lost Toys.
100%. And like Pickens, yes, obviously, he's the guy there, but the wide receiver 2 spot is wide open. I hope Quez Watkins does great. I hope Van Jefferson can find himself back on track. I hope Mims and Fitzpatrick can figure it out and do their thing. They do love Calvin Austin, honestly, on this team, but no, I would have to go with good. I mean, I think which lands us at upside, which is fine because I think at the very least it's upside.
Well, I said good, you said elite, so I feel like we can at least be good.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I was down one.
You're fine. No, I don't know. I would love to know. See, this is why Joe shouldn't leave. Like I don't know why he's saying upside. What? Maybe it's Arthur Smith related. Like I don't know why he would be so down.
We do got 5 running backs on the team to steal some targets, but I just feel like honestly, I don't think Pickens' job is secure as wide receiver 1 at this point. I mean, I agree that he's the best receiver on the team right now, but if you add someone who turns out to be the Puka Nacua type thing, like I don't think like Puka never overtook. I'm just saying hypothetically. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying like let's say the Puka gets drafted last year on this team right now, like. Mm-hmm. He would overtake Pickens. He never overtook Cooper Kupp. It was an even split. It was like, we still love Cooper Kupp. He's a veteran. Pickens could not easily, but he could be replaced is what I'm trying to say. Like, as the number 1.
That's fair enough. Okay. Well, do you want to still move them to good?
Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
Okay, all good. All right, we'll move on to the Seahawks. Joe has get the fuck out. I actually agree with that too. I
No,
really hope they don't add one.
there's no other choice. I mean, in the future, like someone's gonna have to replace Lockett, but at that point, they got Metcalf and JSN for
Well,
the
they
next
kind of like
2.
that Bobo kid, so I wouldn't say they don't give him a chance. I know he's got a goofy name; he sounds like a clown, but I mean, I kind of like Jake Bobo. He showed some good things last season.
Dude, Tyler Lockett was the bane of my existence last year. Like, I was so angry. Like,
That's
he
fair
just
enough.
like 1 catch, 3 catches, and then he'd have like 9 catches on my bench, and I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to do here?
Yeah, so hopefully they don't add a wide receiver. If they do, I don't think that's a good thing for whoever that ends up being, for sure. All right, on to the San Francisco 49ers. This one is interesting, Josh. Just to say it, okay, actually, Joe kind of explains it. He says, get the fuck out of here with a question mark.
That's
I
GTFO
actually,
plus, by the way. That's a little star asterisk.
well, okay, so the interesting thing is if they get rid of Ayuk, this is a great spot. Like, this is a fantastic, probably good spot. But without knowing the status of Ayuk, it's hard to make that call. I'd probably go upside, honestly.
You're trying to tell me Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in football, and his brother's being drafted and like mocked in like the 5th round. You're telling me that he's not going to tell this team to go get his brother, especially if they know Ayuk's going to be gone.
Didn't tell him to go get his other brother, Max McCaffrey. He never
Oh, yeah.
made it to this team.
Nobody likes that guy though. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly though, like I see a receiver going to this team regardless. Ayuk troubles itself. They love Juwan Jennings as well there, which honestly, Juwan Jennings would step right into Ayuk's role, which is weird. And like dynasty wise, like if you have him on your team, you're probably sitting pretty. I think I have to go with upside. Or maybe, so you're saying there's a chance, actually. Let's be real.
I said upside. He said GTFO with a question mark. And
all right, we're going to go with so you're saying there's a chance because it's all dependent on the Ayuk trade, right? Like if Ayuk doesn't get traded, it's nothing.
Right. Okay. On to Tampa Bay. Joe says upside. I'm going, so you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, I'm more on the so you're saying there's a chance. I don't mean to shit on Joe here, but Godwin and Evans are still there. There's and then the 3 to 4 rookie to 1 year in the league receivers that Mayfield always throws to. So
Otten, Palmer, I thought showed some good stuff last year.
Who's the random guy he kept throwing to? I just kept pissing me off.
Palmer.
No, Jarrett, Raheem Jarrett, and
Oh,
Devin
yeah.
Tompkins. Like it was just weird
Rock 'em.
ass. Like, yeah, I like Trey Palmer did actually look pretty decent. I feel like this receiving room's pretty full. They have a lot of other issues they need to deal with personally because of all the veterans that have been leaving this team. Which surprised that they made a push last year. They looked pretty good for it too. So.
I'm still confused at why. I mean, they weren't great. They did only just barely win the division, but still, like, I'm actually kind of surprised at how good they were. I thought this was going to be like a 4-12 or 4-13 team with them drafting one of these quarterbacks right now. So I'm kind of surprised. So
I personally never doubted the offense as much as you did as a Baker fan, which is super weird. But I doubted the defense, and the defense showed up, or at least enough, basically. Shut down the Eagles.
I thought he wasn't going to be able to produce enough offense to offset how bad the defense was going to be.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, defense was fine, actually, surprisingly.
Yeah. Okay, on to the Tennessee Titans, and it's a GTFO.
Oh, 100%. Sorry, my bad. I just thought we were just going to brush right past that.
Oh, no. I mean, and Joe says that as well. I mean, they should not add anybody else to this team. They have Hopkins.
Even if they do, it's not for this year. It's for the future. And
Traylon Burks.
Chig's not a thing. Stop that. Stop.
Kyle Phillips. No, I'm just saying how many people they already have there. I mean, it's just a disaster of running back. I mean, it's not a disaster, but there's just so many people there that they don't need to be adding anything on offense at all, I don't think. I would hate if a running back went here. I would hate if a wide receiver went here. Maybe a quarterback or a tight end. That's about it.
At this point, the only slot that's available this year is potentially Treylon Burks. You can't sit DeAndre Hopkins and Treylon Burks. You put so much effort into anyway, and then you just paid Calvin Ridley a monster contract. Really, there's no spots available. Like, I mean,
I don't think they can admit their defeat on Treylon Burks after the AJ Brown thing. Like, there's no way they can admit they were wrong about that.
they're gonna have to eventually, which is sad.
It's-
Because honestly, Treylon Burks is
getting
a
there.
great talent. It was one of those things. It was kind of like Nelson Aguilar being drafted before Justin Jefferson. It's like, how are you supposed to live up to that? You know what I mean? Like, or no, it was Jalen Reagor. Sorry, how are you supposed to live up to that? Like, one pick ahead of you. Like, it's the same concept. You get traded for him. I mean, it's a tough life for Treylon Burks.
Well,
I think he actually
and
will be fine once he gets out of Tennessee. But
I'm pretty sure either you or Joe said it, but it's like having a mystery box or a boat. And it's like, what could be in the mystery box? Well, we could even have a boat. And it's like, well, you already have a boat. No reason to get the mystery box thinking you could get one if you already have one. There's no reason to do that. And they ended up on the wrong side of a mystery box. They got, a goat, basically. So, oh, well.
they got
Poor Tennessee Titans.
not the good
They
kind
did.
of goat either.
Not the good kind of goat, just the regular kind that eats grass. All right, on to the Washington Commanders. Joe says upside. I'm probably on upside sounds about right. Maybe, so you're saying there's a chance. There's a lot of mouths here and a rookie quarterback.
I was actually leaning towards good, but obviously upside's fine if we're going to argue this. I'm not going to argue it to death, but we got a rookie quarterback coming in. You got Terry McLaurin and Dotson sitting on the team still. That third slot's open. Sure, Zacchaeus and De'Ami Brown, Crowder. There's a lot of mouths to feed, but there could be a guy that, like the Tank Dell, that's like Stroud's like, I want him on my team. And if that happens and it's his guy, and like, I'm not saying he's going to ignore Terry McLaurin. I'm not saying he's going to ignore Dotson, but like, we saw what Tank Dell did this year. Nobody saw that coming, the kind of thing. Like, if Jaden Daniels or, Marcus May, whoever ends up going to this team, I think it's leaning towards Daniels at this point.
Drake May.
Is it Drake May? Did I say Marcus May again? Oh,
You did.
I've been doing that this whole time until he's in the league.
I just love your names thing, man. You have this funny knack of other football players with the same last name just adding their name in. I love it. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
No, honestly, my logic is the fact that is this rookie quarterback could be like, this is my guy, and it's just that's the concept here. So upside it is, because I feel like that's the consensus here anyway. So, but they need a wide receiver 3, and they could go get one. I mean, rookie QBs always cling to whoever they cling on to.
That's true. And also I think they could add a tight end in the mix here as well. That would probably be nice. I know that's as a wide receiver exercise, but if they did add one of those, that would be nice for them as well. I don't think Logan Thomas is there anymore. I'm pretty sure they let him go.
They picked up Zach Ertz for this year. I doubt they do that this year.
Oh, did they?
They got Zach Ertz, and they got Cole
Turner.
Turner. Cole Turner was actually pretty good filling in for what's his face? He just said his name.
Logan Thomas.
Zach Ertz is there for the year, which I actually really like this team.
That's true. I forgot about that. Well, that's actually pretty good for him then, actually.
Yeah,
so,
this team could be great as long as the quarterback works out.
Yeah. Okay, well, there's our exercise. I will just read off the tops again. So if you're watching the draft next weekend and you hear any of these teams adding a player, these are the teams that you need to be paying attention to in your dynasty drafts. The Cardinals, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Chargers. If a wide receiver goes to any of those teams, that needs to be your main target, because that person's probably going to have a large target share. And in the good category, we have the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Colts, the Patriots, the Saints, the Giants, and the Steelers. If any player gets drafted to one of these teams, that also is a pretty good situation. There may be a wide receiver there that's pushing to be a wide receiver 1, or they don't have a good quarterback and may limit their upside. But those are teams that if a player ends up there, you're going to feel good about if you add them at some point in your rookie drafts.
Yeah, and just to do the same thing we did last exercise where we picked a team that just didn't belong in the category we had, I'm going to make a fireball bet for both you and Joe, and I don't care if you take it or not. We're going to just do it. Miami Dolphins, doesn't matter if they draft a receiver or not. Let's just say if they draft a receiver, no one other than Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle will get 500 yards receiving. That's even giving you A-Chain. That's even giving you A-Chain and Mostert. I'm just saying no one else will get 500 yards receiving, and that's super generous because I'm giving you A-Chain could easily do it.
I think you are making a wild bet there. This is like the
I
number one
might
offense,
be, but
man.
I agree, but it's just if Hill, this is betting basically that Hill or
They
Waddle will be
can't
injured.
funnle the offense through Hill. It cannot work.
They
They
can
have
with
to
Hill.
spread it out.
They will spread it out, but it's going to be through Cedric Wilson's gone. Whatever guy they add in here, and then their running backs and 2 wide receivers and Smythe or whoever the hell their tight end is at the end of the year or the start of the year. There's no way that upside makes any sense for the Miami Dolphins. Just because they're a fun team to watch doesn't make them upside for any receiver that goes there.
Okay, and we're gonna do this for the first time ever. I think you and Joe may have done this in the past, but we're gonna do this now. I will do double or nothing that other wide receiver has 500 yards by week 9.
All right, bet.
Okay.
Love a good double or nothing fireball bet. Do you write these down? I feel like we never did the fireball pod last year, which is super upsetting.
Okay, so the problem with last year's fireball pod, the notebook where everything was written vanished. Just poof out midair. I don't know what happened to it.
We need to do a fireball pod before the season starts, just for good faith.
So yeah, we'd probably do. I don't know how we're gonna do that because I don't know what the fireball bets were.
Oh no, it's just gonna be we're all gonna take a couple shots of
fireball. We're all
fireball.
just gonna take some and kind of talk about
This
what
is
we've
for the L
done in the past. Okay, that works.
Yeah.
We can do that. Okay. I don't have one that I have a major gripe with on this list. You all kind of talked me down, like the Ravens, like I thought they were going to be elite, but y'all are right. Like even if they add a wide receiver there, I don't think Bateman is the problem, like Joe thinks, but I do think just based on how that offense is run, that person's upside is very limited. Even with Zay Flowers there and stuff.
My biggest problem, other than the Dolphins, would be that I want more people in the elite category. I look at that good squad: the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Colts, the Patriots, even the Saints. Well, maybe not the Saints, but those 4 teams. Like the Patriots could easily draft that wide receiver who's elite.
Yeah,
but it's just like too many mouths to feed. New quarterback. Who's it going to be? The Colts, Pittman's there. Anthony Richardson, mobile quarterback. Broncos, no quarterback. We discussed. Cowboys. I just feel like I want to put them into elite, but like I could see them messing it up basically.
Well, so. Giants similar. I mean, if they had a quarterback there, we would think that person was going to be there. And honestly, Josh, I'm not going to lie to you. Because we mocked this to happen, if they end up with Michael Penix next week, and they add a wide receiver, I'm going to feel really good about that wide receiver. I know that they might.
Yeah, but it's going to take all year for Penix to start is the problem. So it's like you're talking fantasy football stats, but I mean, if we're just talking just for the team, they'll probably actually choose Penix will probably actually choose a receiver. Maybe it's Darius Slayton. That's the thing.
I've heard that they're going to probably end up with Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze, whoever doesn't go to the Chargers. Is a possibility for them.
Super smart for them, honestly. If that's the case, then I wish we could say elite, but we still can't without a quarterback.
Yeah, because with Daniel Jones there, it just limits the upside too much. I mean, even with like Burks, they had when he went to Tennessee, like we're like, oh well, this is an elite destination, and it ends up being a disaster because they didn't have a good quarterback there. I love that you're watching the Sixers game right now.
Oh, dude, it's wild right now.
That's awesome. All right. Well, with that being said, we'll kind of get us out of here. Everybody, again, we will be live next Thursday on the IDP Guys channel on YouTube. We will be live talking the draft. I mean, come hang out with us. Come grab a drink. If you don't want to listen to what they're spouting on there, we're going to be giving out fantasy football advice as it's happening. Or we're just going to sit there and kind of laugh at Joe because the Chicago Bears botched the entire draft. We will be commenting as things are happening, reacting. We won't be spoiling picks. I know that might happen later on in the pod, in that show, but we won't be doing it. We will be reacting as things are happening. So come listen in, all the trades and everything. We have a good time with these every year. Josh, you sell the people on it as well.
Yeah, no, I actually, my favorite thing was the AJ Brown trade. I was sitting there talking to my dad about how good the Lions did, and I was just like, your team's doing great or whatever, and Billy's like yelling at me, waving to me on air, like, dude, you guys did something awesome, and I was just like, wait, what? You got AJ Brown instead of the 11th pick in the draft, and that is just what I want.
Joe literally called him on the phone while he was on the phone on our Zoom screen. on the podcast.
Just trying to have a quick
Pretty
side chat. There's usually like 3 or 4 minutes between picks. I figured I had some time, but no. I will say one thing to one of our listeners that always has been supporting us, Rougarou. If you're not there, I'm gonna be really mad. So just letting you know that. Hopefully you're listening to this as you speak. If not, I'm gonna find you. So not in New Orleans, on Twitter. On Twitter. Like I'm not gonna.
Oh, okay.
run all the way
Yeah,
down
let's
there.
say hunt him down on the Twitter streets. All right. Well, with that being said, I don't have Joe to get us out of here. So Josh, you get us out of here.
We'll see you next week, Thursday live stream. Good night.